I'm going to talk about Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Not been said about it. What can I offer? Um, Pulp Fiction is actually the third film in the Tarantino universe. Reservoir Dogs came out first, and I covered that, and I talked about how it's about fathers and sons. True Romance came out after that, shortly after that. That's a kind of adolescent romance crime thriller. And then Pulp Fiction, I would postulate, put to you that it's about friendship. These are the three themes of a young man. Tarantino has no brothers, single parent family. Father was estranged, so the thirst for a romance, the thirst for a father was never there, and now friendship. He's talked candidly and lovingly about his time in the video store and hanging out with his friends where he was talking about movies. So the film begins with Pumpkin and Honey Bunny, and they have a kind of meandering conversation that ends in explosivity with that famous line, "Nobody move, this is a robbery," freeze frame, and the heavy metal, cool Tarantino music. And that was exciting enough at the time for us to pay attention. Tarantino himself has said if the audience feel like they're in good hands, they'll go with you. So, he hits a home run to begin with, and then we're off to Vincent and Jules. The conversation is rolling with the two of them, and you get a sense that when you watch it back closely, that Jules has just picked Vincent up, maybe from the airport, and he's talking about where he's been, probably from the airport because he talks so specifically about being away. Vincent has flown in to maybe oversee this escapade with Butch. Marcellus has a bad feeling, and the two lads, meander on. They've got this great conversation about burgers and stuff. They get up to the room, they do the business, close down on the guys. And of course, Vincent and Jules have a friendship has just blossomed. Later on, they have the brilliant argument in the bathroom over the towel, and Vincent says, or Jules says to Vincent, "Look, I respect you and all, I'm not threatening you." Later with Marcellus and Butch, again, it appears there's a friendship, but that falls apart. We move along to Vincent buys the heroin. There's a friendship there. He returns later on. A friend has to return the favor. Vincent and Mia strike up. There's sexual tension running through that whole scene. But after she overdoses on heroin and he has to give her the adrenaline to bring her back to life, they end in kind of a positive friendship. It's distant and professional. It's the boss's wife. But again, that's there. Friendship is a theme I think running through this the whole time. You've got Butch post fight. Butch kills Vincent. Butch and Marcellus getting their beef. I love that bit in the street when he shoots the woman with the white trousers on. It's just such a specific madness to it. Earlier on, I should have mentioned there's a marvelous moment where Tarantino raises the square. Don't be a square, Daddy-o. Some people thought that he was doing it to tell you that this isn't in the real world. But in retrospect, Tarantino follows the laws of physics all through this film. Nothing happens that couldn't happen. I know it's odd, but the criminal world is nuts. And, you've heard stories online with Michael Francesi and things like that. Nothing would surprise you. And I think what he's doing there is he's highlighting the film. He's highlighting the moment, letting you know that something is going to come up. And that is, of course, John Travolta dancing, which is great. He's taken the triptych narrative as far as it can go, the kind of non-linear structure. I don't think he could go any further with that, but it serves its purpose because he could cross cut, the narrative, bring characters in and bring them back later, and there's a deeper feeling when you see them the resolution to their stories later on. Jules and Vincent, of course, go on their epic odyssey, blowing the guy's head off. Mr. Wolf shows up, and their friendship cements with the big conversation in the diner. And Mr. Wolf befriends them in a way. He learns to respect them. They seem to have moved up the ladder, one step closer to Marcellus. Of course, the music is sensational. Everything about it is spectacular. But really, I think when you watch it back, it's really about new friendships. Tarantino was coming off Reservoir Dogs. He went to Amsterdam on his own for a year to write it. Hence, they have a Big Mac in Amsterdam and all that kind of stuff. And I suppose when he came back, he had to kind of embrace a new identity and find new friends. Going from ordinary video salesman to superstar. and it was 3 years after they made Jackie Brown, and 6 years after that he made Kill Bill. So I suppose he done a lot of growing during that period, which is quite interesting. Um, yeah, but an absolute classic. Again, running through it, friendship I think is running all the way through it, and it really leaps out at you when you watch it again. And remember, this is 1994. This is before Friends came out. Um, the new drug culture hanging out. It seems like he was there before everybody else was in terms of pop culture entertainment. All right, enjoy. Thank you.